Hey everyone, today I've got a fun bow build for you. This is the Mathews Lift 29.5. There's a lot of hype to go with this bow, so I'm really excited to get this thing put together and do some testing. Got a bunch of new accessories with it, so I'm excited to share those with you and show you what I'll be putting on this bow. Got a super expensive hat here and a nice bow to go along with it, so let's get to building. This is the new HHA Tetra Max, and this is the X3, so it's got the 3 movable indicators with it, which I really like. I went with the 3-pin option on this. I might change out the scope housings, but for now that's what I'll be throwing on this bow. I have the bridge lock stabilizers, and I did deck it out with all Mathews accessories that I could, so that way I can see if this bridge lock technology helps at all. I have the Mathews V-bar mount, and then the Mathews QAD MX2 arrow rest. I'm really hoping I can just throw that integrated rest on here, and it's going to be center shot set, and it should be shooting bullet holes, but we'll see if it's that easy or not. Let's get to building. With this MX2 rest, it already has the rubber on it. You will have to add the felt to the bottom, but I'll show you. I'll zoom in here, but there's a 0 mark right on this rest already, and that's going to line up right with this indicator. Okay, so there's just a little indent right here, and it's basically the dead center of the mounting hole here. So I'm going to loosen up this clamp. You'll remove this bracket to get to this little Allen screw. And once you get to that, you'll have to loosen it up. And there's a white little arrow on that. You want to make sure that lines up right with that center of the line on there. Then you'll tighten it up. And then you'll put this bracket back on. Okay, so now your center shot should be already set with this Mathews QAD rest. So that's mounted on. Now we just gotta, I will use their football style clamp with it. And I will go ahead and get that set up here. Not tighten that yet, you'll have to feed this all the way through. Okay, so I got the football clamp on here. You can see that it still slides up and down. And then I got the rest cord in there. Okay, so with this football clamp, you want to make sure that you pull the cord tight, sets at 90. Draw back, make sure it comes back to the 90-degree position. So it's not down like that, it's all the way up. And then it should come up about an inch before you hit your full draw. It should come up to 90, and then when you let down, it should go back down. And then you can tighten your clamp back up once you get that. So now it shouldn't slide on you. Like I said, I haven't used these before, so I'm really hoping that that stays put. We'll try it out and see how it works. Just go ahead and double check and make sure it's tight. Okay, that looks good. So now that I got my rest set, I'm going to check my center shot and go ahead and make some lines here and get some soft knots and a D-loop on. Now find my what's squared in my bow here. And you'll definitely want to make sure that your rest is at a 90 when you check that. And what I like to do too is, just for the fun of it, is go ahead and put an arrow in with an arrow level and make sure that it is level. Takes me a little bit to get it level there, but anyway. So I got my knock there, right where I want it to be. Just gonna go ahead and put this on the arrow. That's my starting point where I'm going to start my knock height at. We'll start with that so that is level. We'll try it and see how it goes. I know some people say that's better to be a little knock high, but we'll start there and see how it goes. Just BCY 3D. Just like to add a little bit of wax to it to get it to stick really good. Okay, so I start on the bottom and cinch it all the way up. I'll go onto the top. And back onto the bottom. And I work my way back down so they are not sitting on top of each other. And back onto the top. And then on that one, I will just add another knot to it. And then I will cut and burn that. Go ahead and do the same thing on the top. So I do 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. And then I like to finish it with just a regular knot. The back. Okay, so there's that. Alright, so now I'm ready to do my D-loop. So I got this pre-cut at about 4 3/8 inches. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flare out the ends. Just to really give it a good burn and so I can get a good ball on the end so it won't pull through. Okay, so got a nice round ball in the end so it will not pull through. Do the same thing over here. Try not to catch it on fire, just to basically just melt it is what I'm trying to do. Okay, so now I got that. And I will basically just make a U. Pull these both through that. So now they're facing towards me. I'll slide them up to that soft knock. And this is the bottom side of the D loop. Okay, so I got that. Now I'm going to go over the top and onto the opposite side of the string. Come back through, pull that down pretty tight so I can get this back through. So I go back over the top and under the bottom and back out the other side. This is the tricky part when you do it like this with the ends pre-burnt. Gets a little tricky to get it fed back through there. There we go. Okay. You want them facing the opposite of each other, so that way when you pull back, it's not putting extra tension on the D-loop itself. Okay, then I'm going to get my pliers in there. Make sure that's cinched down good. Then just pull back on it. And there you have a nice D-loop. Fits in there pretty well. If you're new to Mathews, definitely make sure you do not lose your bridge lock screw. So go right on top there, and then just make sure you're in the indent. Get 1/8 Allen wrench. So I do like that you can see the screw going in here, so you know exactly that you're in the indent. Okay, so one thing I really like about the short dovetail on this HHA sight is you don't have to worry about sticking out too far. And then I always like my sight as close to the bow as possible, so that works out well. I have to flip this bracket over, if I remember right, so that way it will fit. Okay, so kind of to show you what happened was the bracket here, which is they call the infinity bracket, or infinite bracket, I'm not sure. But what it was is it was over on this side, but since I'm using the bridge lock system, and you get it over farther to the right, so I just flipped it around. Get it tightened back up here. Okay, and then I'll leave these two screws loose for the bracket so I can slide it up and in. And I don't like to get them super tight anyway until I get it all sighted in. Okay, so that'll get me somewhat close to the ballpark. So I got the sight mounted. Go ahead and get the bridge lock stabilizers put on. Go all the way out just to start. See if I like that or not. Tighten down good. Okay, now I've got the V-bar bracket. I will go ahead and throw that on. Okay, so they give you several different mounting options here. Nice part is they give you this little O-ring spacer. It'll go right in there, and then it'll slide nice and slide really well in there. So I like to have things in as tight to my bow as possible, so I'll slide it all the way in. Get that nice and tight. Got the 8-inch back bar here. Definitely do not lose that. Okay, so for the V-bar part, you don't really actually need the 3-prong. You can just use the one that comes with the V-bar bracket. Okay, and that is really tight to the bow, so I'm going to move that out just a little bit. Okay, so there we go. Got my bars on. I'll put a wrist strap on this, and then I'll be ready to shoot it. Test it and see how it shoots through paper. I ended up picking up my bow, and I needed to add a little bit more weight to the back of it. I want to get it balanced perfect before I try to shoot it through paper. So on these Mathews bridge lock bars, there's a little Allen wrench, or on these Mathews stabilizers, there's a little Allen screw right here, so you'll loosen that up, and then that'll allow you to switch the weights. So you just slide that up, and then that'll leave that right there. And I'm going to take some off of the front and put to the back. So I'm going to just move one for now. They're really easy. They just slide right in and lock in. So really easy to switch out. Then when you put this back on, make sure you just slide it in the right way. Pretty simple, easy way to switch weights really quick. That feels pretty good, so I'm going to go with that. Like I said, now I'm going to shoot through paper and make sure I'm good. Once I do that, I just need to throw a peep sight in after that. I just figured I might as well shoot it and see what I need to do, because if I'm going to put it in a press anyway, I might as well see if I need to make some adjustments. Alright, so this is my first shot through paper here. I'm going to shoot it and see how it does. Not good. Just a little bit of a knock right tear, so I'm going to go ahead and change out the top hats in this bow. What you'll need is you will have to buy a top hat kit to change those out so you can shim the cam left or right. So what I need to do is move the cam to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and switch out the top hats and show you how to do that. I'm ready to shoot this bow again. So I finally got a new rest put on here. That was what was causing me some issues. Got everything set back up, ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and shoot through paper and see how tuned it is. All right, let's check that out. So I am going to call that good enough. So I'll go ahead and throw peep sight in and get it all set up. got my bow in the press here. I'm using the Hamsky Raptor Peep. So there's two different string angles. Most of them are probably going to be the 40, but you just want to make sure that you put it in right. Got my bow in the press here. I'm going to go ahead and get my peep put in, draw it back and make sure it's in the right spot, then tie it in. Alright, so I got it lined up there. Go ahead and take her back out and see how that looks. Alright, so I might take it back out where I can get just a little bit more light and double check it. Alright, I'm going to call that good. It's in a good location. What I like to do is close your eyes and just draw back to that anchor point. And it is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that. Get it tied in here. And then I'll be ready to level the sight and take it out and shoot it. Alright, so there's several different ways to tie a peep sight. This is just the way that I'm going to show you on this one. I've tied them in several different ways as well. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it around. I'll go ahead and zoom in here. So you got maybe about 2 foot probably, and you're going to need 2 of them. Then you're just going to make little half hitches all the way up. So I'll go ahead and zoom in so you can see this. Alright, so for the first one, just going to go around the peep sight. And most peep sights have a loop that you can tie this right into so you're straight across it. Then you're just going to tie a knot and make sure that you have about the same on each one, because you'll run these out all the way down it. And just go ahead and get that in there good. Now you'll run the other one the exact opposite. It'll just kind of help lock it in there together. And I will just go ahead and throw another knot over the top of that. Alright, so now those are locked together. You have strands on both sides. So what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and wrap it through and make half hitches. And you'll do about 10 of these probably each way, all the way down on both sides. Not sure which way is the actual quickest way to tie it in, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay, so that is at the very top, and I came around this way, so now I'll take the other side, and since I came up and through, I'm going to go down the opposite way, and then you just do the same thing on each side. So I got those all done. I'm going to go ahead and clip each one about a 1/2 inch up. Alright, now I'll go ahead and burn those down and in so they won't pull back through. So there you have it. And it is locked in. And it's not going anywhere. So what I like to do too, just so that way I know it's going to stay. If you don't want to see this, you can use black or a different color, but I just like to mark it so I know that it's not moving. Should be good. Alright, so the string and the riser match each other, which is awesome. So I know that the bow and the string are both level. Now I can go ahead and set my second axis on the sight. And I really like the HHAs for this. Super easy to set your second axis. Hopefully I didn't get in the way of it, but you have 2 screws here, which I'll go ahead and zoom in here to show you. And you can just adjust the scope housing to match your bow. So you have these 2 bolts that hold in, and that's going to adjust your elevation. But you have 2 Allen screws right here, and that is how you adjust your second axis. That's level, and that's level, and the sight is level. So all 3 things are level. Now I'll go ahead and adjust the third axis. This is what I really like about this bow vise is everything's going to stay level, and all I'm going to do is turn it. And I'll double check and make sure, but when I flip it down, it's going to check my third axis to see if the sight goes down at an angle, if the bubble moves left or right. So all I got to do is adjust this, tilt it down to wherever I want, and then just tighten it back up here. And as you can see, that is still really level actually. But my bow itself is off a little bit. So I'm going to get the riser so it's back level. So now that's level. And I'll bring the camera over here, but you can see that the bubble of the sight's off just a little bit. So go ahead and just make that little bit of adjustment. And as always, I'm going to take it out into the field and adjust it to make sure that as I shoot and involve the torque of my hand, that it's not continually missing left or right, and make that adjustment so the way that I'm holding it is level, and you're going to involve some torque of your hand. So definitely make sure you shoot this in, because it will be a little bit different than just setting it here, but this will get you close. Alright, so you can see the riser is level, and now you can see the scope is off just to the right a little bit. So I go ahead and make that adjustment. Okay. On top here where this longer Allen screw is, this is the lock. So you'll go ahead and just loosen that up for the third axis. Alright, and then you'll need a 1/16 Allen wrench, and this little Allen screw right here will adjust it. And as you're adjusting it, you can watch it move. And it works really nice to drive it and get it exactly where you want it. Okay, then once you got it where you want it, just go ahead and tighten this back up. Okay, so you can see we're level there, and level there. Well, I've got that set. I'm going to just go ahead and tilt it the other way so it's pointing up. Just double check and make sure that it's still pretty good. Locked in there. Go ahead and level my riser back up. And it is really good. So that's the one thing I really like about this vise is you have this micro adjust. You can easily just adjust it to get your bow back level, and then you can tilt it whichever way and you're level. Super easy and quick to do that. So setting up a sight is really nice with this bow vise. So we're all set up. Now it's time for the fun part, to actually go out and shoot it and test it, and see if I can get this thing shooting really well. So I've got this bow all set up, it's ready to shoot. Since I will be hunting with this bow, I'm going to go ahead and add the attachments for the Mathews Low Pro quiver. And what bow build would be complete without adding the engaged limb legs. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this quiver on here. Alright, so now I'm going to mount the Engage Slim legs onto it. And this is the XO, so this fits the lift and probably the newer versions. There's a little notch in here, and that's going to stick right up underneath the limb bolt. And then you just flip this around, locks into place, real easy to put on, and there you have it. So this is my most expensive bow build that I've ever done. Mathews has done a really great job of making some innovation of everything being in line with the bow, and just all their extra products that they've done to make their bows stand out compared to the other brands. The other brands are catching up and kind of doing more of their add-ons, but for their accessories, Mathews is probably by far one of the innovators that is leading the way. So it's just really hard to build one of their bows without incorporating some of their stuff. It's really nice to have a low profile quiver. Everything's in line with the bow. Not sure if this technology is any better than the others, but I'm going to give it a shot and see if it does make you a more accurate archer and if the bow balances better and shoots better at long distance. Like I said, I've not shot Mathews for a really long time. This is the shortest bow I've shot in a long time as well. I usually go for a 33-inch axle to axle, but with this long, with the riser being so long on this bow, I really wanted to give it a shot and see if this bow is really worth it. So with this being my most expensive bow build, I hope that you'll watch this all the way to the end. And then check out my other videos, because I will be doing a lot more on testing this thing. So I hope you enjoy this bow build. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I know it's been a really long one, but I just wanted to do a full, complete setup so you can see it. It took longer than I thought because I had some issues getting the rest to tune, and come to find out the rest was actually broke, so it would have been really hard to get this bow to tune. I was changing out top hats like crazy trying to get it to work, but I finally got it. This thing is tuned, shooting through paper really well. I'm going to do a lot of testing with it now. I'm going to shoot it against my 33-inch bow that I shot last year, and then I actually got the new Lift 33 to do a test between the two. So I will do a speed test and a whole bunch of testing coming up. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss those videos, and check back because I'm always doing new gear tests and just showing what's going on in my life and what I'm doing in the outdoors. So I really appreciate you taking the time to watch all of this, and if you stayed around the end, thank you very much. Please subscribe. It really does help me out, and I appreciate it. Stay hidden.